We spent the day in Seaside today, and we came away with a lot of stories, a lot of jokes, and I'm here to talk about it. I'm Sean McPherson. He's Jordan Brenner. Jordan, after a lovely day of friendship in Seaside, Oregon, by the coast, what were your final takeaways, and what's the number one storyline from our day today?
Some of the takeaways here from Seaside, it's a lovely town. There are a lot of positives from our trip, but I'd also say, and I think you'd agree, there were some negatives,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm here to talk about them. Let's start with a negative before the positive.
Yeah.
Moe's Seafood. We both came away, and I'm a pretty positive person. You're a little bit more of a realist. Moe's Seafood, neither of us enjoyed. Why don't you enlighten the people as to why?
Yeah, I don't think we're going back to Moe's.
I don't think.
And, we went into this experience, we wanted to like
a nice piece of seafood.
A nice piece of fish.
Right.
Nice piece of fish, right. That was really my goal for the day and going to Seaside, and you kind of gave me free rein to pick the restaurant.
It was his call, right?
So it's my fault. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at this menu at $20, $18, $17, pretty, for
a couple of 23 low income,
low 22, 20. You're a little bit more mature than I am at that 23-year-old age. Turn that
right. Maybe at a 23, I would have made a better call on seafood as you carry on.
So, going through the menu, and there's a nice waitress. The service, I'd say, was fine. That really didn't bother us much. Awfully polite, and she was doing her job. It's not her fault. But I asked her, hey, is this $20 piece of salmon fresh? And you can kind of see her shoulders collapse a little bit and look down. Wasn't happy to inform me that it wasn't fresh salmon. So
not fresh.
So here I react to that as somebody who watched Gordon Ramsay growing up in Kitchen Nightmares, the ability to, I'd say, critique restaurants in fair ways. You have a huge reservoir, a huge Pacific Ocean. It's right over there.
Right there.
Can see the
200 yards from the place. It's got a beach. The real estate that they pay at Moe's to have it right on the beachfront, and then their investment in the fish doesn't match.
Right. So what I was offended by was the fact that you're going to charge me $20 for a piece of salmon that wasn't fresh, and the ocean's right there. Go take a fishing pole, go to the ocean.
Right.
It wasn't able to do that. So we both settled on the $17 fish tacos. And as somebody who enjoys shellfish, you also, I'd say, you had that chowder. I didn't have the chowder, but we walked away disappointed with those $17 tacos.
And if you took a stopwatch while I was eating the tacos, maybe 2 minutes, I engulfed the fish tacos.
Fast eater over.
Fast eater, but that's to say it wasn't very much food. It wasn't very good, and I was left hungry. And that leaves us to a more positive note from the Seaside trip. Sea Star Gelato, right in the middle strip there. As we both enjoyed our experience there, and I walk away with a $3 gelato that was rather delightful to me.
You got the wild berry, I think.
The wild berry for me, the peach sundae for you.
But can we pause a second and remember how we actually got the Seaside gelato?
And that leads into another storyline, right?
A storyline for Sean, and maybe I was boosting your confidence to an extent, but it seemed like the nice waitress there was eyeing you for a bit, and that's exciting for you as you enter this new chapter, this move to Beaverton, Oregon, to walk away knowing that you might have had a shot if you were a Seaside resident with a nice waitress.
In another life, I live in Seaside, Oregon, and maybe the waitress that was working with us, because you said
kept it amicable though, right? She's there to do a job.
Of course it was professional, but you may have mentioned a couple of peaks that she may have taken, and that wasn't the lone experience. We go from
she
recommends Seastar.
Look at all these characters. So many characters.
We go to Seastar, and apparently there's a second character that's looking at me from behind. I never got a good look at her face.
Yeah, and perhaps I embellished a little bit more on the second character, just to, again, boost that confidence.
Right?
Move. But the gelato was delicious, and I got the peach sundae, and this is for me, this is a 5 out of 5. If I were to, so 5 out of 5.
And then the 0 out of 5. Maybe the waitress makes it the 1 out of 5 for most.
That's your experience.
Let's move over to Funland Arcade. What do we think?
Yeah, because there's a game called Fascination, which
I was fascinated by it going in.
So let's go back to that moment. I think it's a critical moment from our trip, and I entered Fascination and Funland Arcade. I didn't necessarily have that positive attitude.
I had a positive attitude about it. I knew it was a hit. 25 cents per game, and you roll these little balls into the holes, and you try to make a connect 5, And I walk away.
I don't know if that makes sense, but keep going.
There was so many times where I had 4 in a row and I had the lead over my counterparts and I couldn't get that 5th ball. Jordan, on the other hand, here collected plenty of tickets. He got 2 championship wins.
It's fun for the whole family. So let me mention that I entered this establishment and I had a negative attitude. I really didn't believe in it, but I left a champion twice, and I really appreciated the play-by-play broadcasting of the person in the high chair describing the action, because it was us against the entire room. Right?
And it was a happy hour moment where you get, instead of 25 cents per game, and suddenly 0.125 cents per game, where you get the 8 games in the $1.
That's interesting math from you.
Right.
Yeah, $1 got you 8 games instead of $1 getting you 4 games.
Of course, we purchased a fun card and we're able to play some Pop Shot and some Connect 4 basketball and a little skee ball. So Funland Arcade, I would rate it probably a 9 out of 10, you know.
So we did an out of 5 rating. Now we're doing out of 10.
Right.
I guess if we're going out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8.5. Experience, but definitely the game fascination. That's one we could sit there and play for a few hours.
Absolutely. And for that reason, as we kind of move this conversation into our overall Seaside rating, whether we'd go back to Seaside or again, because of Funland Arcade, because of Sea Star Gelato, because of just the lovely beach scene and, the fun atmosphere there, I'm giving Seaside an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Moe's is that 2 score where I'm suddenly not as thrilled about Seaside, Oregon as maybe a 10 out of 10 without the Moe's experience. And you.
Again, you're the optimist. I'm the realist. And I'm looking at more of a 6.5, 7 out of 10 rating.
Here's Sean and Jordan signing off.